All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for
Mm,
joining us tonight. I titled this
okay.
call Stories of Hope for a very specific reason. I personally have experienced it on both
Mhm.
ends of the spectrum where hearing someone else's story has been incredibly powerful and impactful to me, to my life. And when I was in my rock bottom, hearing that someone else has been there, had experienced it, all of that is something that gave me hope that I could and would have a better quality of life at some point. I wasn't going to stay there forever. There was like, it gave me hope that this wasn't it. And that was huge. When you were at rock bottom, when you were that miserable, when getting out of your bed is like the hardest thing for you to do all day, and that's all you're really capable of doing, I'll take any line of hope, right? And so I had that hope come be poured into me. And in sharing my story over the years, I have also seen the effects of that. A lot of the ladies on here today are because I shared my story. And that's why you guys are here, because of the impact those stories can have. And I want you guys to have a very open heart, open mind as you're sharing, to not only what can this do for you, but part of the reason I want you all to hear all of these different stories is there are countless people in our lives dealing with something, maybe not the same thing, because nobody has the same body, the same story, anything like that, but maybe something similar. And if this could help change their lives, give them a better quality of life, that is everything. I truly believe it is our birthright to share something we know that could benefit others. And so that is a huge reason that this is what I do for a living, because I want to positively impact as many lives as physically possible. And this is such an incredible platform to do so. So I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Michelle Rose. Most of you know me. If you don't, I have been on an incredible healing journey for almost 8 years, 7.5 specifically with Plexus and the supplements that we use. And it has literally taken me, like I was kind of mentioning, being at my rock bottom and needing any line of, like, any little fishing lure I could grab onto, I was going to grab onto because I needed something. And it has given me my life. I honestly don't really feel like I ever had much of a quality of life until I got to the root and started healing and balancing my body. So, with that, I am going to turn it over to Paula, and she's going to share a little
Yeah.
bit of her story with you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm thankful you guys took the time out to come on to this Zoom call because I know it's hard. Everybody's busy. I see babies online. I see everybody in cars and running, and I know I've had a busy life myself. I'm in Missouri, like Donna said, so I appreciate the opportunity to talk. My Plexus journey started 5 years ago, actually. My older sister had started it. I had teenagers busy. Everybody has those stories of being fatigued. I actually had epilepsy since I was a teenager and dealt with migraines, dealt with all kinds of fatigue from running here, there, everywhere, as you guys know. And so I, started some products to get my energy and stuff up. And I loved it. I was on it for 4.5 years and was perfectly content. April of or March of last year, my sister, younger than me, came to me and wanted to know what I was doing because she wanted to lose some weight. Hey, I got some stuff for you. I've been on this, it's working great. Let's do this. So we started signing people up. And a month later, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. I didn't think I was going to get choked up. Um, when we share our journey, we can really reach out to a lot of people. And my team really rallied against me, with me. And I was had to come off of a lot of my supplements. And for 5 years, I was really healthy. It didn't look like it on paper. That's what I tell people. On paper, I was a hot mess. But I felt great. I had no symptoms. I had no illnesses. My doctor just told me that since I was 49 years old, I had to get a colonoscopy, and they found a tumor, and it had went through my colon wall and into one of my lymph nodes. And so with I didn't realize the importance of how being on the supplements that Plexus has impacts us. And when people realize when you have a healthy gut how blessed we are, you really start to understand that. Because when I had to come off of it as I was going through chemo and radiation, I was miserable. For this last year, from April to October, I had to do it through a very hard uh, regimen. And I'm glad Donna's on here today because she's my sidekick. I mean, she's above me and she carried me through it. And I tell you, um, me and my sister were building our teams, and she was reaching out to my teammates, trying to educate them as we kept them busy. I actually hit Ruby July 1st and last year as I was doing chemo and radiation. And I was just like, didn't even know what was going on. I'm like sitting in my chemo chair, texting people and, doing the videos. And I'm like, what? Oh, today's drip. I got a Snicker bar hanging down on top of my port today. And, we kind of did it with little humor. And, everybody was just really loving the videos we were putting out. And, when I was laying on my couch with my chemo, Donna was like, what can I do for you? How can I do this? The Plexus community is the support is unreal, and if I needed anything, she was there for me. My sister, I love doing it with my sister. She was right there with me too. She's actually on my team with me. She went senior gold with me at the same time. We were enrolling 19 people a month. It was crazy. I went from silver and in 5 months went to ruby. It can be done if we put our perseverance together. And it was done because my sister lost 88 pounds in 4 months. It was done because while I was going through chemo, I was still feeling fairly decent. I was still working, every other week. I had to, like I said, come off a lot of my regimen, but I was still taking some. I couldn't take anything through my gut. November 1st of last year, I had to have part of my colon removed. And then they put an ileostomy bag, an external bag for my colon because they shut my colon off. January 1st of this year, they reversed that. And they expected me to not have use of my colon nerves for a whole nother year. And until May, I really struggled, not having control, having extreme pain. I wanted to go back on my supplements, and all my checkups, the doctor kept saying, well, we don't want you taking anything. We don't want you taking anything. And I just kept telling my surgeon, I was like, but it hurts. My stomach hurts. I need to be back on my probiotics. I want to go back on them. So I did my own research, and it said after colon surgery, a good probiotic is needed. So I took this to my doctor in May, and I said, listen, I need to be back on my probiotics. And so she finally said, well, okay, you're doing really good. Let's go ahead and put you on it. Within 3 days of going back on the Probi 5, I tell you, kid you not, I felt 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better. And if I wasn't a believer in Plexus at that point, I would have become one in that moment, because my colon was having spasms so bad from those nerves being cut that it finally relaxed. Now, I still have bad days if I eat the wrong foods or something. It's going to be a while before I get totally back to normal. But my last checkup last month, she asked me, she goes, I don't know what you're doing, but you are 6 months ahead of schedule of your healing. And I know, and it's, of course, I should start with the cancer's gone. So it's been gone since January when they cut my colon out. But the value of taking care of our gut, you don't even realize it sometimes until you've had to come off of it, and then you take it back. So a lot of the people that come to me and say, what are you doing? Your hair's growing back really good. You're doing this, doing that. Sometimes they want to hear your real story. And sometimes they just want you to listen, because what they need is not what I needed. My sister needed the weight loss. I didn't. I took a lot of hydrate, I took a lot of the products, and I just did what my body needed. If I needed to sleep, I slept. And that's what we really need to do, is just listen to the people, listen to our bodies. And most of all, we just need to go forward. And a lot of my people will ask me, how did you get through something so hard? And I don't consider myself any more special than the next person that has dealt with issues that are just as hard. But I tell people that I went through it 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. And when you do that and you don't look too far ahead, anything can be accomplished. And it's the same thing with our businesses, with our own health issues. We find something that works and we stick with it. And I think if we just open our ears and listen to people instead of trying to solve everybody's problems, we can help them very well. And, I'm not anything special. All I do is just spread the message, and I lean on Donna to get me through it. So that's all I got. And, anytime anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me, but I don't know if I'll have the answer, but I'll be here to talk.
Thank you so much, Paula. That was beautiful. And I praise Jesus for remission
Exactly.
too. Amen. And we're staying there. Oh, what a miraculous. And you going Ruby during all of that?
I know, isn't that crazy?
That is so amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
love
was like
I
at
love it
like
all.
10:59 at night, right before the deadline. It was like
Oh yeah.
seconds. Me and Donna were like screaming, and we're like, ah, and I said, okay, Donna, I'm going to bed now. I was literally like,
Wonderful.
that's great. We got the points. Good night.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to utilize the chat. If you have any questions for any of our speakers, Paula, we also can get you connected after this call as well.
Yeah.
We're just going to kind of roll through all of our stories.
Perfect.
So now I am going to turn it over to my friend Melissa, and she's going to share her story of hope. Hold on, you have to unmute yourself.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. I was going to say, I actually do think that you're special. To the last woman speaking, you are very special. My story is a little different. I started Plexus and I played with it a little bit, and then I ended up in the hospital from kind of like isolation, depression, malnutrition, just not taking care of myself. And then after I came home, I called Michelle and was like, okay, what am I going to do? And we came up with a plan, and I got in a routine, and my life completely changed. My mental health was different. I got off of my meds that the doctor gave me for depression within I think 3 weeks. My blood pressure medication was cut in half. Everything changed. My family could see a difference in me. And I stayed on track and I was doing really well. And then I decided I wanted to move, and I kind of fell off. And so I'm saying this because I can attest that this works if you follow it. And when I didn't, I felt completely different. Like when I was on Plexus and doing my routine, I ate things that I never thought I could eat before. My gut was feeling good. My mental health was great. Everything was great. And then when I stopped doing it, I actually ended up back in the hospital again. So I am a huge believer in all of these products. My doctor even, so Michelle would say tell me what Western medicine is prescribing to you, and she would check it out. And then my doctor actually agreed with her, and then we would go on a plan to get rid of that, whatever they were prescribing me. And I don't know. I just Plexus changed my life. If you stick to the routine and you do everything that you're supposed to do, I sleep better. My gut is better. I can eat things that I never thought I could eat before. My mental health is better. It's all it's all just better. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say, except I know that because I did it and then fell off of the plan and then went back on the plan. And now I'm trying to get back there now. And everything feels different. Just everything. I want to enjoy life and all of the things. It's just completely different. It's like night and day.
You can enjoy life now, right?
Yeah. And before I was like laying in bed and I was depressed and just like the hydrate. Oh my God, hydrate like changed my life and everything. Just all of the stuff changed my life completely to a point where I don't know. I mean, I didn't have to take all the pills I was taking from my doctors before, like the Western medicine stuff of being depressed and all the things that I was taking. Yeah.
I'm so happy you have your life back.
Yeah.
That's so big. And we're keeping you out of the hospital.
Yeah. And again, I mean, and I ended up in the hospital like, oh, even a week ago, I told you. And it was all anxiety driven and dehydration and all the things. And I didn't have my hydrate in the morning. And now that I have it, literally night and day. I don't know how to explain it, but without these products, my life is completely different.
Without them, it's not so good. With them, it's so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm so thankful for you, friend. Okay, we're gonna turn it over to my friend Elise.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Elise Winter, and I started using these products 13 months after I was separated and divorced. I started because I wanted to feel myself again. And I had 2 young kids, single momming 2,500 miles away from my family. So it was like I was on my own, and I was tired and I wanted to feel better. And so that's why I started. And maybe some of you here, I was about 65 to 75% consistent. And then in June of 2021, I specifically remember like I wanted to feel better. And so I've committed and still living this. I take my products every single day. I don't miss it. And so consistency pays off. Some things that I have experienced, I am a transplant to Oregon. And for those of you that are not in Oregon, because we have people from all over the US on this call, we have the Pacific Northwest has really high suicide, depression, anxiety rates because of the constant gray blanket that we have here, like 6 to 9 months a year, like no joke. And I moved from Southern California. And I had seasonal affective disorder every winter. And since I started using these products, I no longer experience that. I also, just January this year, I was donating blood regularly for 18 months as I wanted to give back, as I survived. Like blood donation saved my life during my first childbirth. Otherwise, I would have died. And during COVID, I really felt called to donate blood to give back. And so I was donating every 8 weeks. And I became severely anemic. And I was super fatigued, and I had gained 20 pounds from July to December. And I was consistently using my products. And there was another food sensitivity thing that I added back in because I thought I healed it, but I didn't. And so between the anemia and my food sensitivity, I like in January this year, I could barely get out of bed. Like taking my children to school and coming back home was exhausting. I this year have lost almost 30 pounds. I am the yes mom I have lost 2 pant sizes, 2 top sizes. Like the inflammation in my body is just, today I counted up and I'm down 14 inches between like my bra line, my waist, and my hips. And it's just amazing of what consistency moving my body. And literally, I think Paula was talking about how like eating foods that you didn't ever think you would eat before. I That first year post separation and divorce, I would go through the drive-through all the time because that's all I could do to like survive the day. And so my children and I probably lived on drive-through way more than I ever wished. I don't know the last time we've been to drive-through at all, like this entire year. We cook at home all the time now. We eat real whole foods and we're just thriving. And I get to be that yes mom as a single mom raising 2 young boys. So that's how it has changed my life.
I love it. We need to like put pictures. Can you put pictures in here? I don't know if you can put pictures in the chat. I want to see like all your guys' before and afters. I've seen them all, but that I think is also like a very powerful, like hearing your story is powerful. Seeing the transformation is also powerful. And I know specifically like Elise and Tiffany, your guys' transformation pictures are. Tiffany just finished the reset. Well, so did Elise, but Tiffany, I'll let you tell your story. It's Tiffany's turn. I'm going to turn it over to her.
Hi, am I
You're
on?
good. Yeah, you're good.
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and joined Plexus at the end of June. Had no interest in never joining a group like this at all. But I went, it was my first outing after brain surgery in May. I had deep brain stimulation surgery. I was born with cerebral palsy. And when I joined this company, I kind of went full-fledged, like I was talking about products that I didn't even know about because I was feeling better. After surgery, I was really drained, taking naps every day, and depression and anxiety since I was a teenager. Because of being made fun of so much while I was growing up. Kids are cruel. And so as a teenager, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. As a teen, I was put on depression medication, and in my 20s, I was put on anxiety medication, and I was feeling better. But they kind of, every time you go on a medication, they kind of fix one thing and like mask other things and the side effects and things. What I didn't realize was the anxiety medication was kind of taking away my lack of get it done now kind of. I felt numb. So while I was not having the anxiety, I was having the numbing feelings, and I would just sit there, and it gave me a horrible feeling. But I just accepted it. Well, after joining Plexus, I have more energy. I can keep up with my kiddos better. I actually eat food instead of waiting until I'm starving and then shoveling the nearest pastry or sugar or pint of ice cream in my face. Hello, that was me for dinner, a lot more than I'd like to admit. And so it was probably about 2 months into my Plexus journey that I went to my doctor and I said, my anxiety medication is not helping me anymore. It's more of a hindrance. And she said, okay, you can go ahead and get off of it. Well, I don't even think Michelle knows that it was also blood pressure medication, propranolol. So she was monitoring me for high blood pressure as well, because she figured that I would have to go back on a blood pressure med to control that. Well, I don't need to anymore because my blood pressure is stabilized thanks to the weight loss. I've lost about 20 pounds since June. Ooh. The inflammation is gone. I have so much more energy. I don't sweat profusely like I did. And I actually just learned from Michelle that that is from the products. I didn't even know, and I didn't even realize. I used to break out in a sweat super easy, and it drove me insane. And now I don't have that problem at all anymore. I eat food that's good for my body because I crave it, and I know how I feel on the foods that are healthy for me. I no longer crash. I would eat crap and then an hour or two later crash and then eat more crap. And I would also go through Jack in the Box is about a mile from here. And I kid you not, my husband and I would go through the drive-through every single day and each consume a 44-ounce soda. Okay, not every day, maybe 5 to 6 days a week. So almost every day. I don't do that anymore. And Pepsi is like my kryptonite. Like if you didn't give me one when I needed it, you heard from me because I was not happy and I was super grumpy. And it's like, give me a Pepsi. And now, even if my husband has one, I take maybe a sip and I'm like, why did I just do that? I don't need it. And I truly feel like this is something that everybody needs. We all need to be healthy. We all want to be healthy. And I feel good telling people about these products. I don't feel crummy trying to sell them, you know, in the next gimmick, because I'm actually using the products and seeing a difference. So that's my story.
And you're sticking to it.
Sticking to it, and you all are stuck with me.
Dang it.
Sorry,
I keep trying to get rid of you, Tiffany.
you're trying. You can't.
Oh, thank you all for sharing. I super appreciate all of those that shared, you guys being very vulnerable and open. And for all of those that joined us, thank you for giving your time. That is a very precious and valuable gift. It is something that we can give and never receive back because time is always fleeting, right? And so we thank you for spending these last 30 minutes with us. And you were here for a reason. Nothing is by accident. And so if you have not gotten started with us yet, I'm kind of like, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. So if you have not started, reach out to the person that invited you and start that conversation with them, because we don't want you, like we're talking about time, we don't want you to go any more time stuck feeling like how we all used to feel before we said yes. Before we decided that we were worthy and we made the investment. You are worthy and you deserve to feel just as good as we are now. And here's also the beauty of this. I've been doing this for 7.5 years. It keeps getting better. Elise was just talking about how she's been doing this for 4 years and she's now like hitting her stride. Like it keeps getting better. And so please take these stories of hope and use them to your advantage and share them with others. I will have the recording of this once we get off. And so if you have someone on your heart that needs to hear anyone's message on here, please reach out to me or whoever invited you, and we will get you that recording as well, because they are impactful. I'm sure you feel that from just listening to the last 30 minutes of them. So once again, thank you so much for your time. And we are so excited to help you feel better. And if you've already started, continue that process.